Hi everybody, welcome to this Body Club workout. Today we're going to be running through a 20-minute beginner mobility routine. There's no equipment required, all you need is a yoga mat, but if you don't have a mat, carpeted area is absolutely fine. You can use this as a warm-up if you're doing your workout, or you could use it as a daily stretch routine. A really good one if you're just getting started with exercise and you want to improve your mobility and flexibility and learn some of the basic techniques. So first of all, I'm just going to introduce you to a little bit of pelvic tilt motion. So what I want you to do is hold around the hips, front and back there. Just find your hip bones with your fingers on the front of your hips there. And I want you to imagine your pelvis is a bucket of water. So I'm holding around the top of the bucket, and I'm going to have a go at tilting the water out the front of the bucket and the back of the bucket there. So just really gently rotating the pelvis. It's quite a small motion, 15-20 degrees of rotation, but just get a feel for that pelvic tilt, and that underpins quite a lot of the movements that we'll do through the workout and then some of my other workouts. So get a feel for that. As you tilt the water out the back of the bucket, you'll feel the glutes squeeze and the stomach muscles switch on gently. And as you tilt the water out the front of the bucket, just let those relax. So get a feel for that, and try and avoid swaying forward and back here with the hips. I'm staying up nice and tall and just gently rotating the pelvis. Okay, perfect. From there, I'm going to be coming down onto your mat, and I want you to set up wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I'm going to do that same thing now with the pelvis we've just done. So we're going to rotate gently, and at the same time I'm going to move the head. So when I'm flattening my back there, I'm looking forwards, and as I arch the back up, I tuck the chin underneath. This is a cat-cow exercise you may have done if you've done some yoga before. So try and time that head movement with the lower back movement there. As I arch up, think about drawing my belly button in towards my spine gently, and then relax as I flatten the back there. Nice breath in, draw the belly button in towards the spine. Exhale, flatten the back and look forward. Inhale as I draw in. Exhale as I flatten and look forward. We're going to one last one on there. Inhale and draw in. And exhale and look forward. Okay, from here, I'm going to soften back onto my heels. Now, with all the stretching we do today, I just want you to find a comfortable stretch, so a nice sort of 6 or 7 out of 10 stretch. If anything's painful, don't go too deep into the movement, so just find your own range with it, particularly the first 1 or 2 stretches of the sequence. Don't go too deep, and you can always get a little bit deeper as you go through. And then from here, we're going to come forwards, dropping the hips gently, eyes look forward. Again, don't force the hips, go to your comfortable range, and then we come back into that child's pose position. Again, sitting back, think about relaxing the shoulders towards the ground, creeping the fingers forward, and we come through, forward to there. Think about pushing the floor away and sliding the shoulders away from your ears, relaxing the hips, squeezing the glutes gently, and come back. In just 2 or 3 seconds on each position, and forward. Again, squeeze the glutes, push the floor away, nice and active through those shoulders. We'll go one last time. Gently back. And forward there. Brilliant. Okay, back to our 4-point kneeling position. So again, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then from here, we're going to take one hand, we're going to open up, again, comfortable range, find your stretch, and then I'm going to take a straight arm, reach through underneath, loop through, and come back. So keeping a fairly constant movement with this one. Open through, reach, really nice stretch for the mid back now. Open, and reach. Don't worry too much about timing 100% with me on this one. Just find your own rhythm, but keep it Really nice and slow and steady, opening that mid back, reaching through. Good, last one underneath when you get there. Perfect. Okay, come and have a swap onto the other side. So same thing, hand behind the head, open that chest and reach on through, stretch through the fingertips. Focus on getting the mid back rotating with these. And it's not just this top arm which is opening up. Think about rotating that standing shoulder, opening through, getting as much movement as you can. Nice gentle stretch each time. Okay, last one, open and reach through. Good stuff, perfect. Okay, come and pop onto your back. I like to use a yoga block in this position, just feels a bit better for my neck, but lying flat on the floor is absolutely fine. And then from here, we're going to go knees together, feet together, arms out to the side, and really gently, I'm just letting the legs roll off to one side and then come back. So little windscreen wipers with the legs. Nice control over. Again, find your comfortable range. Just should feel like a nice 7 out of 10 stretch each time, so don't force it. Doesn't matter if you can't get anywhere near the ground, you might be halfway and that feels like a good stretch for you. As I said, it might feel like it loosens off a little bit through the set as well. So particularly first 1 or 2, don't force it. Okay, last one there. And then if that felt relatively comfortable, have a go at crossing one knee over the top of the other knee, and we'll do the same thing. If that felt like a really deep stretch, that last version, stick with that, don't do the cross knees. This is a slightly more advanced stretch. You get a little bit more stretch through the glutes on this one. Focus on keeping the shoulders down, arms down, and just gently rolling through left and right there. All right, last one, and then come and swap your knees. Same thing. Get a feel for it this side, and you might start to notice with some of these exercises you're a bit tighter on one side than the other. That's totally normal. Often people have a slightly tighter side, so just finding out which spots are a bit tighter. But don't assume you can always go quite as deep on the stretch, left and right. Okay, last one over when you get there. Slowly back to centre. And then take your time, come up onto one knee. Going to take a big step forward here. So this front foot is just beyond the line of the knee here. I'm going to take my arms overhead, gently lunging the hips forward, staying up nice and tall, till I feel a slight stretch here on this hip flexor and thigh on the back leg. Again, find your 7 out of 10. Then I'm going to shift the hips back, lean into the hamstring stretch on the front leg, opening up, and again, come up tall, reaching those fingertips nice and high, and into the hamstring on the front leg. Keep this front knee slightly bent, so just soft at the front knee. But again, each time, 6, 7 out of 10 stretch. Focus on really getting the hips moving with this one. Get up nice and tall. Strings. Okay, we go one more on each of them. And last hamstring stretch. Perfect. And then from there, just step this front foot underneath the front knee now. Arms nice and wide, and we're going to gently rotate left and right. Keep the eyes looking straight ahead of you. That will help with the balance. If you are losing your balance a little bit, you can keep the eyes looking straight ahead. Gently rotate through. And last one there. Okay, come and have a swap. So onto the other knee, big step forward, open those hips up, take the arms overhead and gently lunging those hips forward into that there. Find that hip flexor stretch on the back leg. And then into hamstrings again. Hands can go onto the ground there for a little bit of balance. Hands up nice and tall. And hamstrings. And when you're doing this hip flexor stretch, think about tilting the water gently out the back of the bucket that we did initially, and just squeezing that glute on that back leg, just locks the pelvis in place nicely. Nice and tall, squeeze the glute. Last one on each of those. And into that hamstring stretch. Perfect. Okay, slowly stepping that front foot back underneath the knee, arms wide, and then gently rotating through the core. Getting a little bit of balance with these, keep it quite nice and slow. So, okay, have a rest there. All right, next one we're gonna get the glutes stretched out a little bit with some pigeon. So pigeon, we step the leg up and across the body. Now, the closer the foot gets to my hands, the more that will stretch, and the deeper I sink down into it each time, the more that will stretch. So again, just find your level. It may be that your foot is a little bit closer down towards the knee there, and that's your range on the hip, that's fine. So find your spot. Ideally, as we get you a little bit looser and more mobile, this foot can come right up towards the feet there and across the body a bit more. So just find that level. Hands about a yoga mat width apart, and then really slowly you're going to soften down into the stretch and then come up from there. So let's time this one with a bit of breathing as well. So we're going to think about exhaling as I come down and inhaling on the way back up. Exhaling on the way down, 2-3 seconds. Inhaling on the way back up. Exhale down, sink into that stretch, and you're thinking about sinking the hip down towards the ground as well as the chest. Soften through. Good stuff. One last one. Slowly up from there. Come and have a swap. Same thing on the other leg. So find that position, take your time, and exhale on the way down. Inhale up from there. Get nice control, keeping that steady pace. Again, don't worry too much if you get out of time with me. Just think about 2 or 3 seconds down, 2 or 3 seconds up. And you should feel this one in the glutes, so in your buttocks, round the side of the hip a little bit, and maybe a bit of hamstrings as well on the back of the leg. Nice, guys. One last one down from there. Good stuff, perfect. Okay, next in line, we're going to stretch the inner thighs. So we're going to take one leg up and straight out to the side here now. Opening up the standing knee, and then just gently rocking back into the stretch, so forward and back. So as I sink back, that'll stretch right up into the groin, inner thigh. So each time, again, you're just holding for a second or so, gently rocking in and out. Each time hit that nice sort of 7 out of 10 stretch again. Don't kill yourself, just find a nice gentle stretch each time. Nice control, really getting up into the adductors, your inner thigh muscles. Now, something which will also increase this stretch is thinking about tilting the water out the front of the bucket. So I'm keeping this lower back quite nice and flat. The more it rounds off here, the less that will stretch. And the more I keep that flat, the more it stretch. So just find that angle with the pelvis as well. That will influence it a little bit. Try and keep that fairly neutral and just hitting that 7 or 8 out of 10 stretch each time. All right, one last one back from there, guys. And then let's have a swap onto the other, sort of mat out, onto the other leg. So leg out to the side. Okay, again, first one or two, don't go mad, just find that gentle stretch each time, and you might find you can get a little bit deeper into that stretch as you go through. Also, the further you step that foot out, the more that will stretch. Really nice one to open up the pelvis. All right, one last one there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, enough rest. Next one, we're just going to loosen off the sciatic nerve, a little bit of nerve gliding. So back onto your back. From here, we're going to wrap the hands behind one thigh, and then really gently, just straighten the leg till I feel a slight stretch on that sciatic nerve, and then come back down. So really slow and steady again, nice control. And this just gets your sciatic nerve just moving in the sheath gently. So it's a bit of a sciatic nerve stretch and mobilizer. A lot of people think they have tight hamstrings when actually it's the sciatic nerve itself which is often a little bit tight and tethered. So the more you can get this moving, the less of that sort of sensation of hamstring tightness and lower back tightness often you can get. Now we don't need to do tons of these, so we'll make this last one slow and controlled, and then come back. Again, don't need to force it. 7 or 8 out of 10 max on the stretch. Let's come and have a swap. Over, open and down. And again, you might have a slight difference left and right leg. See how that feels. Nice and steady. Okay, and we go one last one there. Good stuff. Have a rest. Okay, next one we're going to go into a little bit of a calf stretch. So I'm going to go hands on the deck. I'm going to press up, hips up into the air, and then just walking the heels down one by one. Think about trying to keep that neutral spine as much as you can there. The further you walk the heel down, obviously the more that will stretch. So just find that range. All right, and last one. Good stuff. Slowly coming up from there. Okay, just take a couple of breaths. You can feel a little bit lightheaded after those ones if you come up a bit too quickly. So, next one, guys, if you go big wide stance, opening through, we're going to take one hand, reaching over the top, open up from there, and then come and swap. Might get a couple of nice clicks on this one. See how that feels, gently reaching, sliding that hand down past the knee, opening through. Lovely, one more each side. And then from here, stepping the feet back in, just going to open and close the chest, gently drawing those shoulder blades together. And if you can, swap the top arm each time as you cross them at the front there. Think about opening that chest through, gently squeezing the shoulder blades together. Last one. Okay, shoulder roll now. So take one arm, we're going to roll it gently through. Upper arm as close to the ear as you can. You'll get a little bit of rotation through the core as well as you do that. Again, keep it really nice and slow. Focus on range of motion over speed here. Brilliant, last one. Okay, come and have a swap. Good guys, and one last one round. Okay, from here, last exercise, just going to do a little bit of a loosen through the neck and shoulders. So this exercise, I want you to think about keeping the shoulders down and relaxed. Going to take the head gently over to one side, so relaxing it over to one side, and then letting the head feel heavy, rolling forward, chin rolls down to the chest, gently across the chest, over to the other side, and then we come back to center gently. Then we go the other direction, so relaxing the head off the other direction, chin rolls gently down, really slowly across the chest, over to the other side, and back to center. We'll go one more each side, relax across, chin down, really nice neck and shoulder stretch, back to center. And last time across. And back to center from there. Good stuff, perfect. Okay guys, we are done. I hope you're feeling a little bit looser and you enjoy that workout. And I shall see you next time. Take care, bye.